Hello and welcome back to the channel. Right, today I have for you a Sluban model. This is the Pantsir S1S. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it. And as I'm sure you can work out just by looking at it, this is the air defense or mobile SAM that the Russians are currently using. But it actually is quite a bit more than just a mobile SAM, as we will see later. But usual format, 60-second speed build, some pics, and then we'll get to the review. Let's crack on and build. Right, so what do we think of this then? Well, first of all, the instructions. Now, there's not a lot else on the instructions. There's a few sort of ads for other models that they do in this particular line. There is a QR code on there, which I believe you might have to have a Weibo account for, which can be difficult in some Western countries. But otherwise, as far as the build itself goes, these is probably some of the best Sluban instructions that I've come across. The build itself it's quite logical. It's really quite pleasant to do. There's no horrible surprises anywhere along the lines. So in that respect, it's great. Now, nothing was missing. In fact, I actually had a fair bit left over. Nothing was warped and nothing was discoloured. Now, the level of detail on here is actually really quite good. There's lots of it, and one of the nice things is that the stickers they used, they do enhance that rather than overwhelm it, which is great. Now, the only issue that I had on the build itself, really, it's fairly solid, but because you're going to be flipping this model, if you do it backwards and forwards from working on the underneath to working on the top, these sort of fuel tanks that you've got on the sides here are underneath. You do them fairly early on. Now, I would suggest, before you drive yourself up the wall, that once you've done them, just pop them to one side, because in the flipping backwards and forwards, you will constantly knock them off with your knuckles and tips of your fingers and things like that. And it's only right towards the very end where that circular plate goes on and actually gives them a lot more stability. But apart from that, it's not too fragile at all, which is great. And there's quite a lot of little surprises on here, really. Silly things sometimes, like you've got your toolbox sort of thing that opens up there. The cab for the drivers is reasonably well detailed. It's not bad at all. As is the exhaust and you've got a spare wheel there. Now, this isn't just a mobile SAM. This can also work as a CNC, as well as It can even work as a mobile air traffic control system as well. It's actually quite a really interesting bit of kit. Now you've got the doors on the side here that open up, but you can't really see a great deal there. You might be able to see something a little bit better in the pictures that I put about it, but this bit does come off quite nicely, and you might be able to just about see it there. There is actually quite a reasonably well detailed control centre in there. Now, can I get this back on the right places? There we go. I think that's what I can. So doors on both sides open and shut. I'm not going to show you both sides because you see one door in them all almost. And then underneath as well, it's quite a nice little touch, is you have both sets of steering wheels do actually move. Now, as far as this actual part, the missile system is actually the Pantsir bit, as far as I can ascertain. Whether it's with the guns or whether it's the missiles, I'm not entirely sure. But we do have a revolving radar thing, as well as, obviously, as you would expect, the turret will rotate 360, and you can even split your missiles. So you can have everything shooting at something completely different if you want to. Now, how much did this cost me? Oh, and you've got the jacks underneath, the mobile jacks, which do come down to give you stability. This cost me £24.68. And I can't remember how many pieces it was, but it's around 1,000, 1,200 pieces. Well, I have to say, totally worth it. It's perhaps a little bit more expensive than I would have anticipated. I would have expected to be in around the £20 mark rather than sort of halfway through that. But it is a really, really nice build to do. It's a very restful build. It's not one of those builds that you have to fight your way through to get to the decent model at the end. You get the decent model at the end in a nice, relaxed, simple way. Certainly as far as I was concerned. So, yeah, it's an unusual piece. It's an unusual piece because, in my mind, because it's from Sluban. Because I've had in the past, some of the Sluban models do seem to be a bit sort of slapped together sometimes. This is really well thought out. So props to whoever did the design work on this, and also the design work on the instructions. Very satisfying model to do, and decent size. It's roughly about 30 centimeters long and 12 centimeters high. Yeah, I've got no complaints in recommending this whatsoever. Very good model indeed. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come with Sluban. Yeah, more like this, please. Right, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you again. You take care. Bye bye.